This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. This is Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Central Texas Life. And today we're going to talk about it's kind of a hidden gem in Waco, and that's the Helen Marie Taylor Museum. And I have the new executive director here with us, Helen Howell Graves. And it's lovely to meet you and get to talk to you about this fabulous little place that big things are on the way.
Yes, we're about to make some huge changes with the Taylor Museum. It is now the Taylor Museum of Waco and McLennan County history, if I can get all that out in one sentence.
In one sentence.
I'm doing good.
Yeah, well, and, other than the Mabern Museum, has got some Indian things and all that kind of stuff. But this is going to be really hyper-focused on Waco and Central Texas.
Right. It's going to emphasize everything from paleo history up through the Mammoth site, through Waco Indians, through Six Shooter Junction, up through all the different things and interesting facts about Waco that nobody knows.
Well, let's talk a little bit first about Helen Marie Taylor. And what an interesting lady. And I almost got to interview her, and it fell through. And then I was so disappointed that never happened. And then sadly, she did pass away. But what an amazing legacy she has left Waco in this museum. She's always had a heart and a desire to preserve history and to honor our history, including our colonial history as well. And that's why I always thought it was so amazing that the Helen Marie Taylor Museum had George Washington's vest in little old Waco, Texas. That just amazed me. But now you tell me that in kind of the reconfiguring of the museum, some of those colonial and revolutionary period artifacts are going to be going back to Virginia.
Right. Our mission has changed to primarily emphasize Waco and McLennan County history, and George Washington never came to Waco.
Well, other than his vest. I mean,
other than his vest. Exactly.
Yeah, there was a Dolly Madison. There were a few
Dolly
really,
Madison turban, and I think her wedding dress.
Yes,
and some
right.
other artifacts.
A bodice of it, or something like that.
We were going through some things, and we actually found one of Martha Washington's shoes. One shoe, not both.
Oh my goodness! Shoe. And how did she come on these things?
I think Helen Marie just bought what she wanted, or found them and went for it.
Yeah.
We are going to keep a small area that's going to be a tribute to Helen Marie.
Good.
And that'll be really nice. She was an actress, a known actress for a time, and we're going to honor her in that way.
Just a fascinating lady. And I just really regret that I didn't have a chance to sit down and get her on tape myself. But I was able to go, a year ago, September, I guess. It was sort of a kickoff for things that were going to be happening with the museum. They had it at the Brazos Landing restaurant, I remember, and unveiled a portrait of Helen Marie that I think we're going to be able to show you here on this podcast. But the good news is you don't have to be doing a lot of fundraising for this. There's just an amazing endowment in place.
Well, there's an endowment that helps support the museum. We are going to be doing some fundraising.
Oh, are you? Okay.
I do a lot of grant writing and that kind of support, and I'm able to get sponsorships from some of the local businesses and things like that. Because basically, in order to keep the trust built up, we have to have sponsorship. But
sure,
the trust will match the sponsorship. $1 for dollar.
Yeah, it's great to have that.
So that
funding in place.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Of course, the Helen Marie Taylor Museum is in the old Barron Springs Elementary building, so the location's not going to change, right?
No. No, it's going to stay the same. It's just going to get a facelift, and it's going to update the building. It's going to enclose some of the porch areas, and those are going to
Because
be
it
our
looks very
offices.
much like an elementary school.
It does. It does.
Yeah, so it's going to look
And
less
I
like that.
discovered
Huh?
the other day that the sidewalks were put in the 30s by the American Youth Association, which was a WPA
Right. Project, yeah.
project.
That's interesting. Yeah, there's so much local interest really about the building itself. The little, what was the cafeteria on that stage, Jules Bledsoe sang for the first time.
Well, the auditorium and cafeteria area are going to stay, going to remain.
Really?
They're going to be upgraded, but they're going to remain, and it's going to be really beautiful.
Well, I
can't wait. I keep seeing more drawings from the architect, and I'm just like, okay, when can we get this going?
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
But,
Well, let's talk a little bit about yourself. So, have you always been interested in history? How did you come upon this position?
I have a BFA in studio art, and I have a master's in museum studies. I went through a master's program at Texas Tech in Lubbock, and the guy heading up our project is Calvin Smith. He was the director of the Mayborn. He was director at Dr. Pepper, and I think he was at the
Fort Fisher, I think. Yeah.
and he started the Mammoth site. He's done everything.
Yeah.
So he's got a good vision for what's going to happen here, and if the Mayborn's any indication, we're going to be a diamond for Waco.
It is so exciting. It's not going to be quick, though.
No, it's not going to happen quick.
This is we're talking in January, and so it's not going to be till April that it's really going to shut down. Is that right?
Right. Well, in January they start renovating an annex building that's across a metal storage building across the street from us, so that we can move everything over into storage into that building. Out of our building, so it can be
It'll be climate controlled and
right. So it can be renovated, and it can be we have to do asbestos remediation and mold
that
remediation.
age building, yeah, sure,
because the building is so bad.
Right.
It needs repair. And then once all that work is done, we're going to bring in Southwest Museum Services is going to be doing our exhibits.
Good.
And they've been around forever. I've known them through the Texas Museum Association. They've attended the conferences practically every year that I've gone.
Yeah, this is going to be a wonderful resource.
And we're hoping to have an library and archives as well. So
really.
The what is the name of it? The Central Texas Historical Association we're working on negotiations with them to bring them in to be the archives of our facility, or help with the archives. So that's it's going to be huge. I've just got to overwhelmed by everything
I was going to say,
going
eat your
on.
Wheaties before all this gets underway.
It's kind of like, okay, what next?
Yeah. Well, and right now I'm just thinking about all the wonderful things that are currently in the museum, from the Cotton Palace dresses that are so gorgeous.
And like this past summer, we were donated the eagle that was on top of the Cotton Palace.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the eagle.
Where had that been?
Somebody had bought it in an auction or something.
Oh, my
I don't
goodness.
know. They were going to sell it for $1,500, and Calvin called them and convinced them to donate it.
That really needs it.
So
it belongs.
Like, wow.
How fun is that? Yeah, I remember seeing
And then we have
pictures of
a
that.
Jacob de Cordova map that is like from the 1800s, and it's a gem.
Yes.
It is rare, and it's one of about 3. And it's original to Texas. It's original to this area.
Well, and of course the site itself, I mean, I understand there's some archaeology going on.
We had an archaeological survey done, and I think there's still a few more days for them to finish it out before we start doing the parking lots, which the parking lots are going to be east of the museum and across the street from the museum.
But you have to make sure there's not
You have to make sure that you're not disturbing
anything, and there's a
anything
possibility
important.
of that.
Yeah, there might be. I haven't. They did find a trade bead, a Native American trade bead that they think is probably either French or Spanish.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like every time we turn around, there's something else crazy happening. I can't recall the man's name, but there's a filmmaker from Austin that wants to do a documentary about Jacob de Cordova.
Oh, yes,
And
right.
they want to have an event at our facility. So
yes.
I'm just kind of going, and they're planning it. So
Yeah, I've been
like,
contacted about
I'm like, yes,
doing something
yes,
with that.
We'll
yeah.
do it. We'll do it.
Yeah, I'm excited about that to learn
So-
more about
so
that project.
I'm
but
thrilled
yes.
with it.
Well, anything to I
And
can
I
just
went
geek out
to-
over history.
I went to a Michael Martin Murphy concert in Austin over Christmas.
Yeah.
And he has an Institute of Western Studies, I think it's called, and they're willing to give us a guitar to donate to raise funds.
To raise funds, good.
Yeah, I'm just kind of going, okay, what else is going to happen? You know,
Yeah.
it's really an adventure.
Well, it sounds like it. So how long have you been in this position?
I've been
Helen?
there since June 5th,
Okay, so
so
very-
I'm really new.
very, very recent. You came from
I
where?
came from Austin.
Okay.
I have about 25 years in the museum industry, or museum, various museum positions. I've worked for Texas Historical Commission.
Right.
I've worked at the LBJ Museum and Library. I helped them with their redesign of their building, so that kind of lends it to what we're doing. And then I worked at the McFadden Ward House in Beaumont, which is a beautiful 1906 mansion.
Oh, yeah.
That was the most fun job.
I was going to say historic homes are well, the Neil Cochran House. I don't know if you're familiar with the Neil Cochran House Museum.
I am. I know their director. I'm friends with their director.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yes.
it's
Yeah, Dr. Dash, yes. We're,
yes.
These truly are gems, and it's so important, I think, that we maintain our tie to the past.
Oh yes. Oh
This
yes. And
way.
there are so many interesting things that happened in Waco. There, Bonnie and Clyde came.
Yeah,
They got their start here.
Yeah, kind of a
The first
dubious claim to fame there.
The first ice machine was invented in Waco. The first commercial ice machine. I'm trying to think what else. There's
Of course, Dr. Pepper.
We came up with Dr.
Yeah,
Pepper.
I'm looking
was
out the window at the Dr.
one of
Pepper
the
Museum.
first-
We do have a plethora of fabulous museums
we felt
here.
like we could do a Waco first
Oh yeah, exhibit. That's
and
a good idea.
Change it out and just keep doing one after the other because there was so many different ones that I'm just kind of like, oh wow.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. It's remarkable. But I think there's a wonderful focus there in the Helen Marie Taylor Museum on the Waco Indians,
Right,
or Waiko is the correct pronunciation. I've been taught, because these were the first dwellers
Exactly.
here.
Yeah, and Cynthia Ann Parker was kidnapped near
Right.
here. So it's just one thing after the other. There's just so many things.
Yeah, there are just so many amazing things that our kids and grandkids need to learn.
Oh yes. It's just amazing. I came up from Austin and it's like, okay, this is real, I wasn't expecting all this.
Yeah, well, Waco's got a
I started,
interesting, colorful
I started
history.
as a researcher on the project and ended up as the director.
As the executive director. Well,
Right. And so it's been interesting.
so that's good. Well, I love to talk to people who are recently located to Waco from other parts of the state and the nation, and it's always just kind of interesting to get your take. You've been here since June of 23, so what are your thoughts on this community?
Well, Waco is like Austin used to be, and it's like this is pleasant. It's much more pleasant than Austin at this point.
Yeah.
We're trying. It's still in transition. Trying,
Yeah, very much so.
So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this will be a good move, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I'm just delighted. I'm delighted. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the museum and what's in the works for it. Now, we touched on the wonderful colonial and revolutionary artifacts that Helen Marie Taylor was able to collect, but those are going to go back to Virginia or to other maybe.
They actually belong to a museum that she started.
Oh,
in
so
museum,
okay.
in Virginia.
Because she lived in Virginia.
Yeah, she lived
part
in
of the year, and
Virginia
then
a
she'd been
lot-
Waco
a lot.
part of the year.
Right. Those are going back to a museum that she started in Virginia.
Okay, which makes perfect sense.
Makes perfect sense. But we're going to keep some of a small amount of the colonial things that were, just to represent what she felt
was all about.
important.
Yeah.
And she was actually an ambassador to the UN at one point, and we're going to be documenting that and some of her acting photos, hopefully.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that. I was not aware of that part of her life.
Yeah, she was an actress, I think, probably in the 40s or
Really?
40s or 50s.
What, Hollywood stage or what?
Hollywood, I think.
Really?
I haven't really gotten to do a lot of the research on that at this point, but I do know that she was an actress.
Now, did she have children herself?
She had, I think, 2 or 3. I'm not really certain.
Well,
Yeah,
are they still in the area, or?
I think so. One of them has passed away. I'm not sure what. I think the others are maybe in the area. I don't know for sure. I know Brandon Taylor is one of her cousins.
Yeah, right.
And he's over. He has.
He's sort of the.
He's the trustee.
Trustee was the term for all that. He's a delightful young man, and I had a chance to visit with him for the story that I did for Channel 25.
We were all able to go to a gala that he had in Richmond, Virginia, and stayed at the Jefferson Hotel.
Oh, did you really?
Oh my gosh, it was just amazing. It's a historic hotel. It was just unbelievable. The bathroom in our room had a TV in the mirror, and it was like really
one of those really fancy places.
Really fancy hotel. I was just like, man, this is just unbelievable, and it was just amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's so everything is going to be top flight with the Helen Marie Taylor Museum. And as you are telling me, this is not going to be the quiet little unsung place that it is now.
Right.
It's going to be a major Waco tourist attraction, right?
We hope to do like a mural on the outside of it or some type of art on the outside of the building. They haven't really decided what they're going to do yet. They're either going to do what they call a shimmer wall, which moves in the wind and has this art
Interesting.
thing that has to do with some of the Waco pioneers, which is just amazing.
Yeah.
And possibly some bronzes and things like that. So it's going to be really beautiful.
It is a beautiful property. There's gorgeous oak trees.
Those trees are wonderful.
Yeah, hundreds of years old. The oak trees, and it really is in a perfect location.
It's an amazing place to, like, if you want to do family photos, come and do them around the trees.
Yes,
they're just gorgeous, and you can just like sit or lean up against the tree, and it makes a wonderful backdrop for a photo. It's, you know, it, our professional photos on our website are around the trees outside, and
Yeah.
they're just beautiful.
Beautiful. Well, and as I recall at the kickoff deal that they had back in September a year ago, there's really a desire for it to be an educational hub as well.
Yes.
And for kids in the community and kind of crossing racial barriers and all that sort of thing
course.
because of the historic aspect of Barron Springs Elementary, for that
Well,
matter.
Exactly. It was a school. You know, that's important. It was also a Freedmen's Bureau before it was a school. So it's got quite a history.
Yeah. Well,
And we plan on doing a lot more educational programs and
after school type programming and all that
possibly,
sort of thing.
yes.
Well, I think we do ourselves a disservice if we don't teach the younger generations
Well, I think
about
too,
the past.
We kind of have it. We haven't got it firmed up yet, but we're in the process of doing. We're going to be creating some traveling trunk exhibits to
Good.
take to the schools
To go to
while
the
we're
schools.
closed. So
Yes.
it'll keep us out there and
That's a great
keep
idea.
people aware of us.
Because it'll be about an 18-month process to get it. So we're looking 2025, 26 when.
Yeah, probably sometime 2025, maybe 2026. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
It depends on how things go,
Right.
because we've gotten pushed back 2 or 3 times already
Yeah.
on our contracts and everything, because the builders want to do all the bigger projects first, and they,
Right.
we're
Well,
not as,
that and
we're
you've
not
got
as big
some
a project.
archaeology issues. I mean, you've
We're-
got several
looking
things
at
that
that.
could.
I think the parking lot's probably going to start if they don't find anything. That's going to be one of the next steps, which would be a good step, and the renovation of the collection storage building.
Yeah.
So that'll be good.
Well, it's exciting. It's exciting, and I appreciate you spending some time. I like to end these little visits with it's a sort of a questionnaire that the late great James Lipton would use on Inside the Actor Studio. Speaking of acting, and this is sort of my take on it. So I will ask you, what is your favorite word?
In reference to the museum,
Whatever. You just have a favorite word.
probably color. It goes back to my art.
Your art, yeah.
My art background.
Yeah, well, that's good. I've not ever heard that before from a guest. What is your least favorite word?
No.
I do hear that a lot. Sounds like a 2-year-old.
Don't tell me no.
No, don't tell me no.
Don't tell me no, because I will find a way to get it done.
That's right. It's like hold my beer. Watch me. Yeah. So, what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Well, I still do some art and jewelry making and that kind of thing. I'm a born-again believer, and that's really important to me. My kids, they're, they're great kids. My husband and I adopted them from Russia.
Oh.
And they're now in their 20s, and I'm going, how did they get this old?
Yeah, you just put bricks on their heads, and it does not keep them little.
Keep them little. No.
What turns you off creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
I just struggling. Just when you struggle,
Yeah.
that makes things more difficult. But it also, when you get through the struggle, makes you more thankful for what you have and what
absolutely.
you can do.
Yeah. What sound do you love the most?
Probably the birds in the morning. I'm renting a little house out in the country right now here in Waco, and it's like I get up and there's a little pond outside my window.
Oh my.
And there's turtles, and there's little bunnies, and there's little birds. There's bird feeder outside my window, and it's wonderful.
Yeah,
It's
love
just-
the sounds of nature. What
Mhm.
sound do you hate?
Oh, probably cars. I'm sorry. Cars and large machinery. That's
Yep.
not fun.
What other profession would you like to have tried?
I've had 2 or 3. So
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
like
you've done a variety of things
I've
in your
been
life.
an illustrator, museum curator, museum director, collections manager. I've also worked in retail. I've done a lot of different things. So I don't really. I probably would like to get back into the art at some point. But
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
So.
What profession do you know you would not want? No, thank you. Don't want to do that.
Plumber.
All right.
I don't know.
I know, God love them, particularly
Yeah.
this time of year when it's cold and they have to
Mhm.
be out and digging under houses.
Yeah, my
and stuff.
mom had this amazing trick that she would have. It wasn't just with plumbers, but she would have repairmen come out to fix something.
Yeah.
If she had to have somebody come out and fix something, she would watch them. So the next time she could fix it herself.
Really?
Yes.
Bless her heart.
She was like fearless.
That's great. One last question. What do you want to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well done.
Yeah. Well, you are doing all the good right now from what I can see.
Well,
Helen, I appreciate so much
I'm trying.
your work
It's-
there at the Helen Marie Taylor. Again, it's one of my favorite spots that a lot of people just don't know about. And so
And
we're going to
it's-
do what we
it's-
can to fix that.
It's going to be so much better.
Yeah.
And it's going to
Oh.
be interactive exhibits. It's going to be top of the line. It's like, I can't say enough about it.
Yeah.
It's just
It's-
really going to be wonderful.
It's going to be great. And so we'll have you back as we get closer to the grand opening. But in the meantime, can folks still rent it for meetings? I know at one time you could do that.
We do rent out the auditorium for meetings.
Uh-huh.
We will be having an exhibit coming in from Humanities Texas about women's suffrage in March.
Okay.
It'll be coming in the 25th of March and leaving on the 15th of April, which will be fun, trying to deal with taxes and that at the same time.
Right before you shut everything down.
Right.
Okay.
And we're hoping to have a women's luncheon during the month of March.
Good. Good.
So hopefully we'll be getting that going. And I've already gotten some sponsorship for the
Good.
exhibit
Well, let me know
already,
if there's any
so
way we can help publicize that. It would be
very
happy
cool.
to do that.
That would be very cool. Very
Well,
cool.
many thanks to Helen Howell Graves, Executive Director of the Helen Marie Taylor Museum.
Actually, it's the Taylor Museum
The
of
Taylor-
Waco and McLennan County.
Okay, I'm
history.
going to have to
It's
get
not
that
the Helen Marie Taylor
burned
Museum
burned
anymore.
into my the Taylor Museum. Okay, very good.
Taylor's still there, but
Yeah.
we're
Yeah. Well, it's going to be great, and I appreciate you so much. And thank you for being with us, and we'll see you again next time on Central Texas Life. Bye-bye.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.